Raiders. Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Biletnikoff, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Biletnikoff at the 50, high running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murph back once again for another what we hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate all of you joining us on the audio podcast as we return to Raiders Fan Radio after taking a little mini hiatus after the draft, and so glad to be back here in Murph's Fan Cave. And thank you to all of you that are joining us live on the YouTubes tonight. Appreciate Bobby Wasabi, Mojo Raider, Raider Rich, Mr. Kano, Chris Rubio, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, we call him the Capo, Atticus B. Rockin', a bunch of you already in there tonight in the chat, and appreciate you joining us live there. And so, gosh, I'm so used to the disembodied voice laughing already early on at the chat that it threw me out of my introduction routine.
I'm having an issue.
Oh, there it is.
I got a new computer, and I'm having an issue already.
Jeez, Mosh. Hold on. Let me get your camera going. So there it is.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
That's the laugh we were looking for. And of course, the disembodied voice. And so thank you for those of you joining us, and thank you to the one and only Uncle Mosh that adorns the southern annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk. And watch this on the YouTubes over here. Watch this. Watch this curtain.
What?
There's your curtain.
Oh, I love
curtain.
my curtain.
You're all about the curtain.
So here's my problem.
All right,
I'm trying, and I'm on the chat already, man. I'm already excited.
Yeah, you are.
I'm fired up. I got my new computer, and this thing keeps popping up, and it won't let me click. I was going to say, hey, guys, I'm here, but nothing's happening.
Oh, well, you are here.
So
though.
I know I'm here. You know I'm here. Q-Dog knows I'm here. Ron knows I'm here. Everybody knows I'm here.
My neighbors know you're here.
Sorry about that.
No,
Sorry if
you're
you
good.
were driving and you had a kid in the back sleeping, and all of a sudden I'm like, what? But I'm trying to get it so I can type, and geez, now I got all kinds of stuff up here. But anyway,
all right, there
I'll
we
get
go.
it figured out.
Well, welcome back into the Fan Cave, Uncle Mosh. It's the first
Thanks,
time
man.
we've been back. No, we've been back once since the draft. What am I talking about? I'm just talking about crazy stuff. All right,
We had a week off. We were going.
Yeah,
we're in our summer schedule.
Yeah,
and so we're like the every other week.
we're gonna kind of alternate some stuff.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna mix it up a little bit here in
We
the
got
Fan
some
Cave.
stuff, man. We got stuff
some
going.
stuff. All right, so let me hit on some of that stuff. So what we got going on is that, so for the summer times, for those of you that have, well, all of you are football fans, but you know that we kind of hit a little bit of a lull, especially in June and July. And there's the doldrums, the offiest of the off season, and so we're gonna go to every other week in terms of RFR proper. So that is Raiders Fan Radio proper here. The numerated episodes that we do every week. We're gonna go every other week, but we are going to have some other stuff to fill in the meantime. So we're not going away necessarily week in, week out. You're going to have content from us every week. It's just going to be different content. We'll probably just feature our interviews that we do that will be with players and other people that are significant to the Raiders. Now, we will have those interviews for you in between the proper episodes. And then I've also got another thing, actually two other things I'm working on. And product development, Uncle Mosh, as we say in the business, in this radio business. So I got a couple other things that we're working on that we're developing. One with our buddy Monster Mash Ken. We're working on a cool idea. And very much going to happen is a new project that we're going to do with our buddy and Jeff. So those of you that are familiar with our show, and Jeff is our buddy. He's our real life buddy, and he's a recently converted Raiders fan. And we were kind of kicking around some ideas of what we could do podcast wise together. And I've had this idea for a while now, ever since Mosh and I did our Super Bowl show.
Right.
We had a blast doing our Super Bowl show. We did a show where we basically just went over and highlighted the Raiders Super Bowl victories. And we had a blast, man. We did it Super Bowl Sunday, and it was a lot of fun. So since then, I've kind of had this idea kicking around about doing a history of the Raiders show. And so with Jeff being a newly converted Raiders fan, I thought, you know what, he'd be a fun guy to bring in on that and kind of, educate him a little bit, educate myself, and hopefully you all as well on some things. And even if it's just review, even if it's just moments in Raider history that you're already familiar with, it's always fun to relive those things. And much like everything we do on RFR, we want it to be interactive. So we're going to take your suggestions for the significant moments in Raider history. Not necessarily the greatest moments, just significant moments. So it could be, of course, it could be on field. It could be wins. It could be things like that. Could be the Tuck rule. Could be hiring of the first African-American head coach. It could be Al Davis becoming commissioner of the AFL. It could just significance in moments in Raider history. And that's what we're going to do our show on. So anyways, look forward to that coming up soon in the very near future. All right. So in terms of RFR proper, this is Raiders Fan Radio, the flagship show here on the Murph's Fan Cave Podcast Network. We host 3 podcasts currently. That is this one, Raiders Fan Radio. That is the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead Tom and Fitz. And that is Mondays with Mikey and Murph. And that will be starting up again soon also. So the best way to support our shows are a couple of different ways. Number one, like and subscribe to us, please, on your favorite podcast network. Please also do the same here on YouTube. Please like the videos, subscribe to the videos. Uncle Mosh, we've got some heat on our YouTube channel this week. It's been awesome. I hope you're not laughing at that.
I'm laughing at me. I can't do anything over here.
What are you doing over there?
I just want to type.
We'll type in the chat.
It ain't working.
Oh my gosh! All right, when we get to one of the other segments, I'll help you out there.
Oh my
gosh! Help you. You know what you can do? You know what's funny, Mosh? You could just talk to him.
You know,
you can just talk to the chat. They're all in there listening to you right now.
And they're going, and they're talking bad about me.
Well, just talk to them.
It's okay. No, I don't want to talk to him. I wanted to type to him. You know, my stepson used to say, he's like, I hate texting. And I'm like, why do you hate texting? And he's like, we had Morse code. It didn't work. We got telephones. Why do we got to go backwards? And I'm like, you're right.
All right. Just talk to him.
Hey, so here's a good thing.
All right, go ahead. Shout him out, Ma. Shout out the chat.
So, hey, well, yeah, if I could. So, Mojo's there, Chris Rubio. I said it earlier, Just Win, Johnny, Q-Dog. Abel Gomez. Let me see, Raider Rich. Everybody's here. The Dakota Raiders here. Who else is out? Raiders 64 since 1968. Did I say Chris Rubio, Mojo Raider? They're all here. We're all
awesome.
here. Everybody's here.
Awesome.
Everybody's fired up. So I was. What was I going to say? What was I talking about?
I don't know. You went on. You wanted to.
I was going on a rant about something.
Man,
somebody says, "Hey, Uncle Mosh, how many days left of school?"
Oh yeah.
It's so short that it's down to the hours now.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got what? 2 Mondays left?
The actual teaching Mondays are all done.
Oh,
it's
really?
all testing now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to derail you.
Hit me.
All right. So you have to. For those of you listening on live, we're going to get to plenty of Raider content. Don't worry. And those of you listening, same. But I want to take a second, even before I get into anything else. You know, we do a lot of respect around here. We don't do props. We don't do shout outs. Nothing wrong with those things, but we like to give respect. I'm going to give respect to you, Mosh, because you had Uncle Mosh is not the kind of guy that like draws highlights to his own accomplishments, but I'm the guy that will draw a highlight to his accomplishment. Uncle Mosh, as you guys know, is a theater teacher. He's a director. He's a lifelong coach and theater teacher. His recent production that you've heard him talk about, one of the reasons he took a little hiatus from the show, it won the equivalent of a state championship here in Tennessee. He got recognized not only by the state, but it's on the radar to get recognized nationally. It's freaking awesome. It's the biggest achievement you've had as not only as a theater teacher and director, but as a production, as the entirety of a production, and you got the Best Director award, Mosh. It's freaking awesome, man. So I want to celebrate you and give you much respect for that. That's pretty cool, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It wasn't me. It was the kids. I'm not the shepherd. I'm just the biggest damn sheep they got. So, yeah, no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. We got to perform at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, and it was a packed house. It was 3,500 people, and it's called the Spotlight Awards, and it's a lot of 32 different schools enter this, and they have to, there's qualifying things to get in there. And so, yes, we did. We were nominated for 5 different categories, and we ended up, one of my kids got the Best Supporting Actress award, and then we got it for Best Direction, my directing team and I. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good thing. So
that's cool stuff, man. Very cool stuff.
Yeah. So thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, so good stuff there. So, all right. So here on the show, I mentioned a couple ways to support us. Like and subscribe to it. Do all that good stuff. And then also, please, guys, do this. If you want a cool T-shirt, you see the shirt over Uncle Mosh's shoulder there, the Get Made T-shirt. It's the new RFR T-shirt. You can find those on our website. It's RaidersFanRadio.com/T-shirts, and buy a Get Made shirt. Now, here's the thing about the Get Made shirt. They're either $20 or $25, depending on what size you are, and they're like $10 to ship. And you're like, hey, Murph, that's a lot of money for a T-shirt. I know, but because we're giving the money away. We're not keeping it. Mosh and I aren't keeping it. We're giving all the money away to the Biletnikoff Foundation. Our goal is to raise $2,000, and we're going to hand the Biletnikoff Foundation one of those big fat, like lottery-style checks at the end of the year. We're already well on our way. We're just shy of $300 already. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but it's freaking May, man. It's like with $300 already that we've earned between the shirts and the donation. So buy the shirt. All the proceeds go that way. Or you can go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear, GEAR, and hit the link. That will take you to NFLshop.com. Anything that you buy there, same thing. We get kicked back some of the money, and we're taking all that money and giving it to Biletnikoff. Now, $2,000 is our goal, but we're not going to stop if we hit it.
No.
We're going to rocket past that sucker if we want to. To become like a platinum sponsor of one of their events is like $2,500. So if we hit that, we'll just sponsor one of their big freaking events, donate that way. Again, all on behalf of the RFR listeners, all you guys in the chat, everybody that listens to us, all the money's going away. We're giving it all away.
Okay, so a lot of people know, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of people know that when you buy T-shirts, when you make T-shirts, if you got a good T-shirt guy, you don't spend a lot of money, okay? There's millions and millions of dollars that are made on T-shirts. Sure. Swag is a huge, huge business, okay? And stuff. So we get a good deal on our T-shirts. Last year, when it was the first time we did them, we said, "Oh, let's do our T-shirts. Let's price them to sell."
Because you got a guy.
Because I got a guy.
You got a guy.
I got a guy. Hey. So my guy Twine. Is who it is, and I'll give them a shout-out because they're awesome. Twine stands for the world is not enough. I mean, these guys are great. Yeah, the guy that runs the place, he's got a you'd love him. He's got a lightsaber tattooed on his finger.
Oh, my gosh, he's awesome.
So when he sits there and he doesn't like what a customer's saying, he's just like in his brain, just lightsabering the guy. But anyway, my point is, T-shirts don't cost a lot of money. Last year, we sold our T-shirts at a pretty good rate. We made a little bit of money, but we broke even. We were even.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't make any money. No. We made a little bit, but we gave so many of them away.
Yes.
You know, that was our thing. Every people that we'd see, and we put people in them, and we get little kids and fat little kids. But anyway, because we had big shirts. But my point is, the money we're making when we decide to do the T-shirts, and the reason that they're priced at $20, $25, which is a whole lot less than you get at a concert,
right?
or at a stadium.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not paying
spending,
Dave Grohl. You're paying the Biletnikoff Foundation.
You're paying the Biletnikoff Foundation, and I don't have a problem with that at all. If I can get a T-shirt for $10 and I can turn around and sell it for $25, and I can take that money and give it to someone like the Biletnikoff Foundation for all the good work they're doing, my conscience is clear.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And you get a cool T-shirt out of it. So
absolutely.
So help us support them. I even charged, and Jeff, he was over here the other day, and he goes, hey, so do I get one of those shirts? And I go, you got $20? And he goes, you're going to charge me? I go, well, if you want to steal from the foundation, that's fine. You can have one. And he goes, oh, here.
Yeah.
But I'm like, because for real, though, like, it's not, we're giving it away. So help us, help them.
And if I had a nickel for every dollar that Jeff has beat me out of on T-shirts over the last 20 years, he owes us. As a matter of fact, and Jeff, you're listening, I want $100.
Just because.
You owe me.
Just because. All right, Mosh. Let's hit the contact information. Let's get into the episode. You know where that is over there?
Hey, my new computer, my keyboard don't work. Somebody on the chat goes, I'll bet Uncle Mosh typing sounds like a ball peen hammer. Well, you know what? They're right. They're right. It does. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro.
You don't got contact info?
No, you didn't give it to me.
Oh, come on.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us show at RaidersFanRadio.com or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Merv's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
Our national emergency is over. Uncle Mosh is logged in and able to interact with the chat via text, Uncle Mosh.
What was it? I never had to do that before.
I don't know. Probably because you got the new computer. It's just an additional login.
So about the new computer. So no, there's no more wire jiggling.
Yeah, no more wire jiggling. So we upgraded the fan cave once again. So we got a new rig over here for the one that runs the show, and then Uncle Mosh got my old rig that used to run the show. So should be no more audio clipping, no more internet issues, no more anything. And we've upgraded significantly. Uncle Mosh. So
we're ready, man. We're ready. We're fired up,
and we're able to expand because we got a lot of other ideas going on, and so we can run multi cams now. It's gonna be stupid. I watched too much Rich Eisen show.
Yeah.
Because and too much Dan Patrick, and I'm like, whatever. It's everybody's got a hobby. This one's mine.
So one of the cool things about doing Raiders Fan Radio is that we're a fan-based organization. And I use the term organization loosely because the only time we're ever organized is about the hour before the show. But we're fired up. We're putting together. We're going to put together a highlight clip, and
that's going to be fun.
And we don't know when we're going to do that.
No, we'll do that sometime. When we get all that downtime, we got this summer.
We got some stuff. We've had a lot of requests. Some of the tailgating too muches, and we're gonna release the best ofs. The best of
RFR's greatest hits.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Did we have any great hits?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There was that time you hit the can on your forehead. That was kind of fun.
Good, yeah. I got asked a lot about that. What that was about my pansy water, my LaCroix water.
I hate that stuff.
Hate that stuff. All right, so let's get into it, Mosh. So this is episode number 129 of Raiders Fan Radio, and for those of you that are frequent listeners to the show, and for those of you that are new, we always refer our episode number back to something significant amongst the Raiders. Could be a yardage total, could be a player number. In this case, we are episode number 129, and Mosh, I'm going to play a call from the Sea of Fans this week.
Wow.
to arrive, and this is a little bit of a surprise for you, to arrive at the significance of 129.
Murph and Mosh, this is Houston Raiders Steve. I can't wait to be wearing my Get Made t-shirt. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My topic for you today is, what was your first Raiders game you ever attended? Mine was in 1994. Art Shell was the coach. It was down at Joe Robbie Stadium against Don Shula and Dan Marino. 180s that day. I was sitting in the south end zone on the upper deck watching the Raiders play. Of course, there was Raider Nation no matter where you go. And it went into overtime. It's tied 17-17, and then the Dolphins won it in overtime 20-17. So I've never in person seen the Raiders play win in Miami. I've only been there once, though, of course, so that's my track record. My first ever game out on the West Coast was when I turned 50. I decided I'm finally going to go to a Raiders game on the West Coast for my 50th birthday. It was 2010, and we was at the Candlestick, the Stick as we all say, and we lost that game pretty bad. But I was there with Raider Greg and Raider Randy and the firemen from Berkeley Fire Department in the end zone. And, man, Raider Nation was out there representing, but I finally got to see him on my 50th birthday year. See the Raiders play out in the West Coast, so I've been going to games ever since then out in the West Coast. Great show. What was your first Raider game, Murph and Mosh? And also the other Raider fans. God bless. Great show. Go Raiders. We're back, baby.
All right, so Houston Raider Steve, appreciate the phone call. Houston Raider Steve is the RFR historian, Uncle Mosh. He's always got amazing calls.
Absolutely.
And Steve, God bless you, I only play about half of what he leaves us. And I listen to every one of them, but he calls us with stuff all the time. And Steve, I listen to every single thing that you send us because it's awesome. It's just time constraints is why I don't play everything. But Steve has enough content to absolutely do his own podcast. And so for those of you that are in the chat, he asked about your first Raider game. So holler at us, man. Let us know what your first game was, and we'll talk about it. And so, but here's where I'm going to get into the significance of 129, Mosh. And I'm going to dodge his question a little bit, but I think it's fun. It's going to be fun to do.
Okay.
Okay. So he asked about his first game. I don't know when the first time I went to the Oakland Coliseum
Me either.
was. I don't know because I was in utero and then plus, and I mean, you went to World Series.
Yeah. I went to,
what year was that,
72? It was, God, I don't even remember if you were born or not. I know that it was the Dodgers and the A's.
So
74, I think. 70.
Well, I was born 73 because they went 3 years in a row, right?
So it was 2, 3, or 4. I don't remember which one it was.
So,
I know I went to the Reds. I think was the Reds before. Geez, I don't know. I know that the first World Series I went to was when Murph, your namesake, when he almost killed that woman, screaming and yelling.
Yeah. And he got knocked.
Those memories aren't even they're not even flowing anymore. Right. They're just black and white still.
So it was a long time ago, Steve. I don't know. And then for a lot of my life growing up as a kid, number one, it was too expensive to go to Raider games, or football games as a whole. That's why we went to a lot of baseball. But then the Raiders left. So for the whole time they were in LA, and I grew up in San Jose, it wasn't an option to go to a Raider game. Okay, so all that said, so the first one that I remember going to later in life in Oakland was in 2011 when I went with my dad and your brother and we had that game. But I'm going to go back before that. I'm going to go 20 years ago to answer Steve's question, the first game you and I ever went
Monday
to together.
night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, that's right.
Thursday night football, Raiders Titans, okay? And now I'm getting ready to hand you the sheet here, Mosh. Take a look at that and take a look at what that date is and tell me what that date is.
Wow.
What is it?
It's December 9th, 1999.
So this is episode number 129. And what was the date of that game?
12-9.
12-9.
129.
Isn't
nice.
that cool? Isn't that cool?
So this was our first Raiders game in Tennessee.
Yeah. So
where we live now.
First one we ever went to together. That I remember.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so that I remember.
That's crazy.
So 1999, Mosh and I went to this game, and here's what it's. Now we were there, so we didn't hear this, but this is the broadcast.
Eddie George has powered the Tennessee Titans to a 9-3 record and one step closer to their long-awaited goal. A playoff berth is on the horizon, but only if Tennessee continues to roll. The Oakland Raiders have fought and clawed to a 6-6 mark, but must now find a way over the hump. Room for error no longer exists, making tonight a must-win game. It's the Tennessee Titans and the Oakland Raiders on an ESPN NFL Thursday night special. Nashville, Tennessee on a gorgeous night in December. And the latest crown jewel of Music City, Adelphia Coliseum, where a sellout crowd is ready for a prime-time affair with playoff implications. The Tennessee Titans host the Oakland Raiders. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, along with Joe Theismann and Paul McGuire. It's great to have you with us. Raiders head coach John Gruden calls his team's remaining 4 games elimination games, meaning you lose any one of them and you're out of the playoffs. Joe, how are they going to get it started tonight?
Well, Mike, the way they want to get started is the same way they finished last week against Seattle, and that's run the football. You've got the #1 rushing team in football. You've got Tyrone Wheatley, Napoleon Kaufman, and a huge offensive line. Now, if they can run the football, John Gruden's offense will then have an opportunity to open it up a little bit. Tennessee likes to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. If they want to come up and go against Tim Brown, it'll give Rich Gannon a chance to go down the field.
What do you think, Mosh? Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, that was
fun?
pretty cool.
Yeah, cool stuff. So the thing I remember most about that game, because the Raiders lost. We lost the 21-14. But I'll never forget. It's like, so this is December. It's cold. We're wearing like Raiders Christmas hats and like our jerseys and stuff. And so we're walking out of the stadium. We're walking out of the concourse, and a fight broke out in front of us. Do you remember this?
I do. I do. You grabbed the little guy. I grabbed the big guy.
And it was funny because we're like, so especially back then, like it was all Titans fans. Like,
and it was Titans fans that were fighting.
And they were Titans fans that were fighting, and we're the ones that broke up the fight. And I remember, and so like everything kind of settled down, and everybody started to continue walking back down the concourse. And I'll never forget, somebody behind us said, "It's a sad day when the Raider fans are the ones breaking up fights at a football game." It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
it was funny.
I think they were even together. I think the two guys were together.
I think they were,
Yeah, they were walking out and let's just go 30.
So anyway, so that was our first game together that at least I can remember as an adult. So it was 20 years ago this year. So great question, Houston Raiders Steve, and look forward to hearing what your answers are there in the chat. All right, so here on Raiders Fan Radio, we hate math, but we love numbers. And Mosh, I got another number thing for you this week, and let's switch to your camera there and look. So you're wearing the number 60.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you're wearing the number 60 because that is your favorite player.
Absolutely. From the University of Mars, Otis Sistrunk.
Otis Sistrunk wore number 60, and you turned what age this last year?
60.
60. So we got 60 and 60. We love our numbers. And Mosh, do you know what season this is getting ready to be for the Oakland Raiders?
60.
Yes, sir.
It's the answer to everything.
Councilman Bob Osborne, what is the new name? The new name is the Raiders.
And we hope that the years ahead will be the most memorable for our fans and our organization.
Look at these Raiders. Multiple Hall of Fame players in their prime doing battle. Chiefs Raiders, man, you got to get a ticket to this. Somebody hits in these games, good night.
Here come all the Raiders. Holy Toledo, it's a free-for-all. Intercepted by Willie Brown at the 34.
Better not telegraph these throws, Fran, or Willie Brown might jump in front of it.
Medium deep to Casper. Casper makes it over the shoulder catch.
That was one of the great catches you'll ever see by a tight end or any receiver.
What a blast by Leckler. An 80-yard punch.
This 80-yard bomb against the Bears, dang, he smoked it.
And he looks and throws. Intercepted by the Oakland Raiders.
Look at Villapiano right there. I remember they went down to Houston and they got an emotional victory for Al Davis. Boom! What pro football is all about. The Holy Roller.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolute.
Bill King on the call.
Madden is on the field.
I bet Coach Madden didn't even know it was a touchdown.
There goes Bo, and nobody catches Bo. Touchdown.
Tim Brown with career catch number 1,000.
What a great memory for Tim.
Gannon looks left, nobody open, he can run for the end. 27 seconds to go in the AFC Championship game.
He is Superman.
One of the coolest things I've ever seen. And what a history, what a tradition the Raiders have. Here's to the 60th season of Raider football. Thank you. Can't wait to see all of you.
Come on.
Oh,
Preach,
man.
Coach. Preach.
I got the goosebumps, man. Oh man, that fires me up, Mosh. Hearing all those, and that's another reason why I wanted to do this kind of history show or this significant. There's so much good stuff there in the Raiders' history to cultivate. 60 years, Mosh.
It's crazy.
60 years. You and the Raiders are the same age. I love that.
Oh, yeah, it's like Kismet or something, man. It's it's supposed to be.
And you know what? I kind of forgot one because that year that the Raiders became the Raiders was 1960. Right?
No, I was born in 58, bro. I was born in December, at the end of 58. I only did. But
you got to add one, right? Because it's the 60th season.
Don't start with the math. They're already messing with you in the chat.
I'm kidding. I thought that'd be funny. All right, so let's do a little bit of respect here, Mosh. So, sadly, sometime
you want me to get this?
You set it up. You take it.
All right. So this year,
set up the respect though.
So we don't give respect here. No, we don't.
Yeah, we do
to each other. No, man. Seriously, we go way back. We've listened to a lot of podcasts. We hear a lot of podcasts. We watch a lot of TV. We watch a lot of sports. And everybody's like, hey, let me give a shout out. Let me do this. Let me, number one, and all that stuff. That's all good. There's nothing wrong with that. But on our show, because we're a fan-based group, we give respect. We respect our fans. We respect our listeners. If we didn't have the listeners, we'd just be playing this for you and me.
Yeah.
But people like us. We like them back. So we give respect. And we give respect to people that may not ever listen to us.
Yeah.
But we still give them respect. We call them out when it's time to call them out. But we give respect, So this week, we're going to give some respect to some folks that aren't here anymore. Okay? This week we lost Peggy Lipton from the Mod Squad.
Yeah.
We lost Que Sera Sera, Doris Day.
Yeah.
And we lost the funniest man that's ever walked the face of the earth, Tim Conway.
Yeah.
But and much respect to them for their lives and all the stuff and all the fun stuff that they brought, the happiness that they brought to people. But we lost also 3 in Raider Nation.
Yeah.
We lost Gunther Cunningham. Gunther Cunningham was a defensive assistant for the Silver and Black from 91 to 94. His passion for football is going to be missed. Raider Nation said that they released that the thoughts and prayers of the Raider Nation are with the Cunningham family at this time. We lost Bob Zeman. Some folks remember Bob Zeman. He joined the Raiders as a defensive backs coach in 71. Stayed there through 77, my era.
Yeah.
When I was really getting into it hot and heavy. Came back and rejoined the Raiders in 84 and served as linebacker coach there through 87. Go ahead.
This is the guy responsible for the Soul Patrol.
Absolutely.
The absolute infamous Raider secondary of the 70s. This is the coach.
This is the guy, yeah. Cliff Branch went on to say today, we lost a great one in Bob. He was one of the greatest coaches I've ever met. We met when I was a rookie in 72, and we spoke at least once a month for over 20 years.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's
cool. Cliff goes on to say Bob was loved. He was part of the Raider family. That was important to Al Davis. That you're once a Raider, always a Raider, and Bob was a part of that. He coached probably the best secondary in Raider history with Willie Brown, George Atkinson, Jack Tatum, and Alonzo Thomas, the Soul Patrol.
That's awesome.
Cliff says that he would listen to these guys and he'd get them in line when he had to get them in line, and he had a very close relationship with them. He was a player's coach. He could. In coaching, we like to say he could kick him in the ass, but he could hug him at the same time.
Right.
And then Dan Connors. Now, Dan Connors also passed this week, but Dan was the first draft pick Al Davis ever signed for the Oakland Raiders.
Wow.
And the thing about Connors, he was drafted by both leagues. He was drafted by the AFL and the NFL, and the Bears,
the freaking
Bears, they didn't want him. They didn't want him in the 6th round. They didn't want to pay him. He said in a ESPN interview back in 2013, he said Chicago was not interested in signing me, and the Raiders were. And it wasn't about the money; it was about getting signed. The guy was a stud. 3 All-Star honors. Once was, of course, against Green Bay in Super Bowl II. He was an All-Star then. But what a stud. And
he was like our first middle linebacker, like, because this is before my time. I know who he was, or I knew who he was, but I wasn't like as familiar with like him with like Matt Millen or like, you know what I mean? So like, but Dan Connors, like, he was the man he was one of the center points of that defense, right?
Now in Chicago's, not their defense, because I would never defend Chicago, but who was the guy that they had at middle
Singletary.
linebacker?
Well, at Butkus.
Before
that.
At that era.
Oh, yeah.
I got
you. Yeah.
Okay, they passed on Dan Connors, and then they bring in Butkus, but what can you say? But Connors played for us, and he played magnificently, and it's sad. So much respect to Gunther Cunningham, Bob Zeman, and Dan Connors.
Absolutely.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than 6th-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, Raider Nation. So, man, we got some fun stuff here. So, coming up on the rundown here, we got a lot to get to about our new rookies, and then we're going to get into the Sea of Fans mailbag, real heavy. We got a lot in Sea of Fans. We got some voicemails. We have a couple of emails, even some Twitter posts, some fun stuff there. But before we get into that, I got one last thing. I'm gonna adorn the Murph's Fan Cave soapbox, Mosh.
What?
One last time, man. So.
Is this one last time?
One more.
Wait, who was it? Who was it? No, who is it that says? Somebody from the chat said, I got to go to one more last game.
Who
was that Beto?
It might have been Beto.
It
was somebody.
Somebody said, I got to go up to Oakland for one last game.
So I got one last stand here against big time media. So. You've heard me say it numerous times, and I'm gonna say it again one last time, and then I'm gonna stick a fork in it. We forever have been talking about Derek Carr and about how his job wasn't really in jeopardy, that he was going to be our starting quarterback despite any of the other reports. We knew Derek was going to be the guy, and he was going to be the guy until somebody affiliated with the Raiders told us that he wasn't going to be. And so anyway, so we talked about that for a long time. We finished it off. We put a fork in it, and now we're not going to talk about that anymore. Same thing with the Khalil Mack trade. Same thing with Amari Cooper. Same thing with John Gruden. We kind of come to a point with these storylines, and I just feel that, like, to keep you guys from hearing us repeat ourselves over and over and over again, we just get to a point where we're like, hit it, it's a crescendo, it's over, and we move on. All right, so that's where we're at today with this idea of the media and them spreading around false or misleading stories in terms of the Raiders. It doesn't matter to me if it's, and you've heard the list before, but it's off the top of my head, Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, it's Mike Silver, it's Will Bond, it's Tim Kawakami, it's Mike Florio, who am I missing? It's there's a million of them.
Jeez,
there's a million of them.
Where you look.
Okay. But so those guys, their stories are driven by agendas that typically counter things that are positive for the Raiders. So they will take a story and they'll give their hot take, their spin, their whatever to try to get you to click on the story, because that makes them money. Because when you pay attention to them and you click on them, you're giving them your money and it ups their ratings, and that's how they're making a living. Okay. Look, I'm a capitalist at heart and I don't begrudge anybody from making a living, but when you do it by misleading Raider Nation and by firing us up as fans and effectively turning us against each other at times, it pisses me off. It drives me bananas. All right. And so
you're sweating.
Oh my gosh. It just kills me. So you've heard me say it numerous times. Well, this is the last time I'm going to say it, because you know what? I'm an amateur podcaster, and I may talk a lot about this, but one of the men that I respect most in terms of radio broadcasting, of sports radio journalism, is Dan Patrick. And Dan Patrick went in this week on all of these fools, and not just the ones in Raider Nation, but the whole hot take culture and nature and what sports media has turned into as a whole. Dan went in on him. He could not say it. I could never say it any better than Dan did, so I'm going to play you this. It's a few minutes long, but it's great stuff. Listen to Dan, and then you're never going to hear me bitch about this stuff again because I'm sick of talking about it. And again, Dan puts it eloquently.
I don't know if you've noticed all the hot takes that are getting hotter these days, and I thought that maybe this had reached the apex a couple of years ago when Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith were together at the mothership. But the reason why it's not going away anytime soon is because they sell. You click on stories all the time, right? How many times have you read a headline and you go, oh, okay, there's a contrarian headline. I'll click on it, little clickbait. And I've dropped my fair share as well, I'm sure, on this show. Today's media is in a tough spot because and I grew up with well-reported stories, but they're not cost-effective. Newspapers are dying, and you don't need these great reporters anymore. You know what a good reporter is right now? He's the guy who goes, I'm hearing. We never dealt with that. That was never the case growing up. I'm hearing. Yes, Eden.
Well, a lot of the media seems to be, not all of it, but it seems like a lot of it is more interested in telling you they have access to things you don't rather than giving you news.
Sound familiar?
So it's more like I'm hearing because I'm on the inside. So I know all this stuff because I talk to the right people. So here's what I'm hearing about it rather than actually telling you, hey, I heard from 2 people that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, Fritzy.
And they're less worried about being wrong or not 100% right as opposed to getting out in front of everyone else and beating everybody and being able to say, I told you so in your competitor's face that they had it first.
If you don't like that kind of sports coverage, then I got bad news for you because it's not changing anytime soon. You want to say something and you want to get attention. And look, I don't know Max Kellerman. I think he's a very bright guy, and people piled on because he said the other day, I didn't see it. I was told about it. Read it on a website that Kawhi Leonard was more clutch, I believe, than Kobe Bryant.
At basketball?
I believe. And look, I don't want to take it out of context. That was what the headline was, that Kawhi is more clutch than Kobe. And I went, okay. I don't know what that's based off of. But then, Max is somebody also said that Larry Fitzgerald might be a future Hall of Famer. And I'm going, I'm going to disagree with that one. I think he's first ballot. But he does want you to talk about it. And the problem that you have nowadays is that's if you're beginning in this business or want to get in this business, you feel like you have to have hot takes. Doesn't mean you have to be right. Nothing wrong with being a contrarian. And being correct is, that doesn't matter. It's just, I'm going to throw it out there. And then you'll get guys who say, I'm hearing. And then if you say, hey, you're the one that said, hey, I'm just reporting what I'm hearing. And you don't have to have a source. You can act like you have a source. And you don't have to have a hot take on every damn topic. How about you do this? I don't know right now.
Exactly.
I'm not quite sure.
Come on,
Yes.
Dan.
That's where you get guys who get in trouble, where they got to have a hot take, and then they're telling you about guys who aren't on the team. They hadn't been on the team in a while, but they're going to have a big impact in the playoff game coming up this weekend. It's because you have to have a hot take. And all of these executives, and it started with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, but they did it in a good way. They were sharp. Those are former reporters, still reporters, Mike is, but they've been doing it for 20, 25, 30 years, and they got on there and gave you educated conversation. Occasionally they'd get in each other's faces, but, you weren't hearing, hey, sources are I'm hearing, it gets a little loose there. And I really get nervous as we move forward in this business. When I get ready to bow out as we move forward, everybody thinks they got to have a hot take. Used to be everybody thought you had to have a catchphrase here. Hey, I got a great catchphrase. I could be a sportscaster. Boom goes the dynamite. All right. That probably won't get you too far, but good luck with that. And now it's, hey, I got a hot take here. What's the hot take? I'm going to go with something outlandish, something wild. And then you're going to notice me.
Uncle Mosh, again, I'm not going to say it any better than Dan. I'm just going to say this, that, we intentionally don't do that type of reporting, if you call what we do reporting, commentary, whatever. We could drive up our ratings or listens or views or whatever by having a hot take. And I don't even necessarily begrudge people like, look, one of my partners in this thing, Mikey, he's all about that kind of stuff. But he tells you on the front end that that's what he's doing. So he's not trying to sell a false premise that he's in the know. But here's what I would say, man, Raider Nation, be cautious. Be cautious of what you consume. Be cautious of, and the owners, look, it's all fandom. It's in the scheme of life. None of this stuff matters. But in terms of your fandom, be careful what you consume. Don't get misled by this stuff, whether it's on ESPN or any of the other big networks, or there's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of great, awesome Raiders-related podcasts. We're friends with a lot of them. But there are also some ones out there that's just trash. It's just people throwing stuff out there to see what sticks and to get you to watch their video. So just be cautious when you're sharing these stories with one another, when you're debating about the team, when you're having your conversations, your fandom conversations. Just be aware of what you're regurgitating, because a lot of it's just fake. A lot of it is just stuff that just popped off of someone's head. Uncle Mosh, Antonio Brown is going to lead the league in touchdowns and in receptions, and he's going to set the league on fire. He's going to
Will you stifle yourself?
He's going to be double what Julio Jones is.
Will you stifle yourself?
I think that Derek Carr is going to get traded mid-season. I mean, come on. What do you think? Give me your take on it, Mosh, and then let's put a fork in this thing and talk about the rookies.
Completely different.
I love it when you get fired up. You are such a goof. But, all kidding aside, we don't have hot takes on here that where we go, but there's been 5 or 6 things that we've predicted. And we've predicted it from reading stuff. We've said, and a lot of times I'll tell you what, my former co-host, the guy I replaced, Sonny, when Sonny called the Redskins game.
Oh, my gosh.
From day one,
yep, sure did.
He called the Redskins game.
Yep.
There has been 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 things over the last year that we've said, hey, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. And those weren't just, we heard this or we heard that. It's like watching games, watching what they're doing in the front office, watching how things are transpiring. It's us watching the Raiders, not listening to the media, and we've said, hey, but we weren't the only ones. The chat was saying it.
Yes.
Or the chat has come up and said, hey, guys, what about this? Our callers, our Sea of Fans mailbag has come up with a ton of stuff. And they've said, we're going to get rid of this guy, or we're going to get rid of that guy, or we need to get rid of this guy, or we need to get rid of. And it happens. It comes to fruition. It's not us trying to wind somebody up to get clicks. It's just saying this is what it is.
Absolutely. I got one for you. So this week, and we intentionally left this off of the show. We're going to talk about it because some of the Sea of Fans gets to it. Kelechi Osemele went on the Left Coast show for an hour and a half, and about 30 minutes of it was nothing but Raiders content. And he had some very pointed, answers to questions about the team. And I thought he was fair. People have asked, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I thought Kelechi was fine. I don't think that he said anything outlandish. I think that he said, like what Mosh is saying, people that you pay enough attention to this stuff, he kind of just confirmed a lot of what we said. But there was something that came out of that. And he had mentioned how last year the strength and conditioning program was terrible. Well, that kind of came out as, Kelechi's taking a shot at the Raiders. Kelechi's bitter, sour grapes, and he's calling them out. Well, look, man, we said on this show the strength and conditioning program of the Raiders sucked last year. The 2 guys that get accused of being bootlickers and Raider apologists and all that stuff, we called them out for a very specific reason. Tom Shaw is a guy that is a legendary strength and conditioning coach. But
he's a genius at what he does.
Absolutely. And what does he do, Mosh?
He gets people ready for the combine.
Yes, he's not about injury prevention, that's what good strength and conditioning coaches do in the NFL. It's to keep those guys healthy. Well, Tom Shaw, they experimented, they brought him in, they tried it, it didn't work, and they fired him. So we know, and that's why we said on this show, look, man, this doesn't work. Well, now Kelechi comes out and says it, and everybody, including some very in-the-know beat reporters for the Raiders, are like, this is the first we're hearing about it. No, it's not. All you got to do is pay attention. Was that a hot take by us?
Not
No.
a chance. Talk to the fans.
We just freaking watch football. We pay attention to the stories, and by deductive reasoning and read the tea leaves, you can see, look, this wasn't a good fit, and that's why the guy got fired. It wasn't a freaking hot take. So it's talk me off the cliff.
And how that happens in this business? How many people are brought in to try something?
You got to innovate. You got to try.
If you don't try, you don't know.
Absolutely.
You know, and and it's not just the Raiders. It's every organization. It's all the teams. That's the nature of the beast, man. In coaching, you're not there long. You know? You're not there long. Keep the house in good shape because it's going to go up for sale in a bit.
So anyway, I think we've exhausted that topic. I'm not talking about it anymore. This is it. You can mark episode.
Yeah, right.
Episode number 129 is the line of demarcation. This is the last time that I bitch about mainstream media. So says me.
Yeah, right.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from The Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murph and Mosh on Raiders Fan Radio. Yes!
All right, so wait a minute. Did you tell me to stifle myself a minute ago? Did you get a new Archie Bunker?
I didn't tell you, but...
Will you stifle yourself?
Hey, so speaking of... So I put that new clip into Mosh's soundboard over there because, Mosh, I was reading through some articles today, and I'm kind of going off script a little bit. On your note sheet there, when I saw this thing that came out about Derek Carr, it immediately I flashed back to Archie saying that, will you stifle yourself? Because I thought about that. All the people that want to hate on Derek Carr, I just thought, you know what? Will you stifle yourselves? Because what does it say on there, Mosh? Give us a little bit of the percentages.
Okay, so we're talking about accurate ball placement. All right, accurate ball placement. So Drew Brees last year, number 5, 48.9%. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes, 50. The only jersey in all of Kansas City for sale.
Apparently, because that's all everybody wore at the draft was some Mahomes jersey.
Mahomes. And then, I like this guy, though. Number 2, Baker Mayfield. It's
Baker's legit last year,
like him, man.
I know, he's hard to root against.
It's hard to root against him. And then number 2, Matt Ryan, 50.8. He's tied with Baker. They're tied. But who's the number 1 person of all the quarterbacks with accurate ball placement at 52.3%? Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. And this is 20 yards plus downfield with a minimum of 50 attempts. So you're talking about, people want to criticize, he's Mr. Checkdown and Mr. This. No, he's not. He's accurate. He does well. He's a good deep ball thrower, and the numbers don't lie. The numbers are right there, and Derek Carr does a great job of executing the offense, man. That's all there is to it. He's executing the offense that he's given. He's following what the coach is telling him to do. So you people that want to give Carr a bad time.
Will you stifle yourself?
I love that.
Gotta love Archie. Yeah. All right, so let's get to some of the rooks. So the rookies, Uncle Mosh, we're getting to know them. They reported for rookie camp. They got fitted for their uniforms. Got their numbers picked out. And, we were all a little bit shocked by the Cleveland Farrell pick, little baby Cleveland, as Capo calls him. So we were all a little bit surprised in the moment just because we all had our minds somewhere else, which is what happens. Sure. We're fans. But look, we've all really grown to like this guy. I think he's an awesome choice. Look, The Raiders, I'm sure, would have liked to have taken him later, but you got to have a dance partner to trade down, and that dance partner wasn't available to him, so they picked him at 4. And so, anyways, despite the little bit of surprise as that was, he is absolutely worth it. He's just an awesome son. We've already rhapsodized about what a great kid he is and what leadership he's going to bring. But now I'm starting to learn, and we are starting to learn why. So why is he such a good, why is leadership an inherent quality in him? Well, it's because he comes from a military background, like his entire family, Mosh.
I was so blessed coming from a military family. My mother served in Desert Storm. My father served in Vietnam, and my brother served in Iraq as well. My mom sent me to an all-boys military Catholic high school, and I really learned how to be a man of character. Not just know what that is, but really live that life. So I was on drill team, I was on color guard. Just to have that entire background and to meet all these different types of people and the different values that my mom and dad incorporated into my upbringing are things that I can never take for granted. Just the things about integrity, being a man of organization, and just trying to keep your time management, and how to be respectful to people. That's something that I really, really learned from their job being in the military.
You know, the two go hand in hand. When you're part of an organization and you know that you can't do it all yourself, you got to depend on the people around you. The two go hand in hand. When you're in the military and it's basic training and it's the beginning, they're looking for people. You know, raise your hand. Have you been part of ROTC? Raise your hand. Have you been a Boy Scout? Raise your hand if you've been a member of a team sport. Were you captain? You know, these are the people that the first ones they're going to say, okay, you're squad leader. And, you may not do it. You may not do it long, but you're going to get a shot at it because you understand the concept of ensemble. You understand the concept of teamwork. You know that there has to be leadership. You know, and the two go hand in hand, man. The military lifestyle, that working for something, seeing the big picture. You know, it's with football, man. It's just, I love it. I love to hear stories like
isn't
that,
it great, man?
I'm just what a great kid, man.
Absolutely. I'm really, really, sold. It didn't take long to sell me. I mean, I'm all in for this stuff, regardless. But you know what I mean? Understanding why. It's like you said, Mosh. You don't got to look far. To hear that kind of background and understand why the Raiders thought so highly of Clelin Ferrell. And so on top of that, he's a pretty dang good football player, and he's a pretty cerebral football player, what we're finding out also.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, for defense, it's all reaction. And it's way more than just going out there running around, man. So what I'm doing is I'm getting my pre-snap read. I'm trying to see, okay, it's pistol formation. A lot of people call it dot. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to see, okay, that's heavy zone read, stretch, or it's play action. And so I knew I was going to be getting the reach block right here. I knew the O-line was going to try to come off hard. So that really just gave me a different tip. You know, just different nuggets like that always help you out as far as when you want to make the big play.
Makes sense.
I mean?
Makes sense.
So he's sitting there with Lincoln Kennedy, man, and they're diagramming plays or breaking down the stuff that he did in college, man. I'm just like, okay, you won us. We're in. All right, so not only do we think a lot of him, which is, you know, not worth much, but Charlie Casserly, former general manager of the Washington Redskins and pretty high-profile guy on the NFL Network, he thinks a lot of Clelin Ferrell and Josh Jacobs.
That I think they did a real good job in filling most of those needs. Let's start at running back. Josh Jacobs, my number 1 rated running back, rated him late 1 to an early 2. Better than Mark Ingram, who's played a long time in the National Football League, who ironically came from Alabama. Good inside runner. What I mean by that, good instincts, downhill runner, good feet in the hole, and he's got some burst to him. That burst kind of separated him from the rest of the pack with running backs. That's why I had him number 2. And then let's go to the defensive end. Clelin Ferrell. Hey, if you took him 14 instead of 4, they'd say it was an A+ grade. This guy, I liked him all around. Got good quickness off the ball, good technique as a rusher, played the run well. Hey, Ryan Kerrigan of the Washington Redskins has averaged 10 sacks a year. I'll take that. Clelin Ferrell's a better prospect coming out of college than Ryan Kerrigan.
Come on.
Isn't that money? That was good. That was good stuff. All right, so also from so now he kind of went from Ferrell and Jacobs. So now we'll kind of transition into Josh Jacobs. This one we were, I think, collectively celebrating
Absolutely.
this pick. I don't think there was any of us, especially if you watch any SEC football, that were not excited. I mean, everybody was fired up about the Josh Jacobs pick. He's dynamic. He's got the potential. Look, you fantasy football players, he's ought to be on your short list, man.
Right.
He's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to get a lot of opportunities to score, and I'm looking forward to watching him as we all are in silver and black this year. So let's go back to NFL Network and hear what the Good Morning Football crew had to say about Josh Jacobs.
I'm looking at Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. I mean, they have a ton of talent. Don't get me wrong.
Hubba emojis.
I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs. Something about them Bama running backs, man. I mean, they come in and they're just physical. They're strong. They're pro-ready, and they're going to need a guy that's pro-ready. I mean, we know what Doug Martin is, and we know what he brings to the table. They'll split some time, I'm pretty sure. Marshawn Lynch newly retired. Isaiah Crowell goes down with that Achilles tear. Chris Warren is my favorite unknown running back, and he's still on the roster. But he has a ton of guys he can learn from. So I'm looking for Josh Jacobs to come in and make an immediate impact. And if I could sit here and watch him on day one, because it's different to see a running back, or anybody for that matter, that doesn't have a chance of being a starter, because you can tell how they casually approach practice. It was similar to me. I'm playing with Randy Moss. I sit back, I watch more than I talk, I fall in line, and I just follow the leader. But when you come in and you're Josh Jacobs and you think to yourself, man, I have a chance to start. There's a certain twinkle in his eye. There's a certain pep in his step. There's a certain way that you run with the ball and you try to embarrass the other rookies that they put in front of you during the live drills. So Josh Jacobs is a guy that I'll be paying attention to.
That's pretty cool, man. So
That
I
is
love
cool.
So Nate, man, awesome breaking it down there. What we got to look forward to with Josh Jacobs, and I like that what he had to say. Like when you know that, like, look, this is your spot, and we know, and so of course he knows that John Gruden will feature the heck out of a running back. Like that's, you know what I mean? When you look at the Gruden offenses over the years, like he's all about that. So,
what was it that they were saying 20 years ago this December? They were saying, Gruden's going to come in and he's going to wrun the ball down their throats.
It was Wheatley and Zach Crockett, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, our Wheatley and Crockett might be Jacobs and Warren. Like that, it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait. So anyways, Josh Jacobs is going to be awesome. And, we when last show, we talked about how you can determine a lot about that player based on what the college coach has to say about them. So we heard Dabo Swinney talk a lot about Cleveland Farrell. Well, now we got Nick Saban.
Who?
The greatest.
The next governor of Alabama?
Yeah, that guy, the greatest coach in collegiate history, arguably anyways. I mean, you start racking up championships the way he has been. Anyway, so let's hear Nick Saban talk about Josh Jacobs.
I'm really proud of what he's had to overcome. But, Josh was always everything we wanted him to be as a student athlete here at the University of Alabama. I mean, he was a great person. He was a good student. He did everything you'd ever ask a guy to do, work ethic-wise as a football player, practiced hard, prepared well every day, was a great team guy, and he was very, very productive, and he always played his role. And we have had a couple number 8s here, one of them Julio Jones, and this guy, Josh Jacobs, that they played on special teams and wouldn't come off. And, I mean, here's guys that are very, very productive players at their positions, and those kind of guys usually say, hey, I've kind of earned my way to get away from having to be a special teams contributor. And Josh wouldn't take himself out if we were 51-0. We had to take him out.
Nothing better, right? Making your name on special teams, and it translates into other opportunities on the field. All right, so good
just
stuff.
Just a player. I just want to play. I just want to play. Absolutely. Why are you pulling me?
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
Yeah,
okay. No,
awesome.
I can do that. I can do that. What more do you want? What more as a coach? What more does Saban want than a guy that can do the job and wants to do it? What? Come on. These are stupid questions. These are no-brainers.
Is that a hot take, Mosh?
I don't know. It could be a hot take. I mean, come on. That's not clickbait.
No.
That's a guy that wants to play ball.
Man.
Give me a team of those. I don't care how big. I don't care how strong. I don't care how fast. You give me a group of guys that just want to play ball.
That's it. Give me 53 of those, man. Absolutely.
Come on, man.
So another guy. So listen to this. This is a good one. So we're going to go back to Good Morning Football, and former teammate of Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, who's the running back for the Miami Dolphins, was on there. And so he's again. We talked before the draft about how Alabama running backs, aside from Trent Richardson, they just ball out, man, nowadays in the league. And that's when we said we would love to see the Raiders take Jacobs, and of course they did. So Kenyon Drake, former teammate of his at Alabama, listen to the way he talks about Josh Jacobs. So this is a guy that's, 3 years older, been in the league now already a few years, right? So this is a guy that's already in an advanced point of his career, and listen to the way he's talking about Josh Jacobs.
Well, first, I'm humbled, to be mentioned with Josh, because Josh is a great running back, man, and he's...
Hey, wait, time out. He should be humbled to be mentioned with you, fam.
No, of course.
You're a monster in this league.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That's just kind of how I step, I appreciate, any type of aspect that I can gain from the work that I put in, but it's the work that I put in. So at the time when, anybody, recognizes, it is what it is. But going back to Josh... from what he's came from, not having, the star power, but for, Coach Burns and, their staff, old running back coach to go out there and, find talent like that, and for him to, work to get to that point, it really just makes me proud, because that was the same mindset that I had going there,
So how about that, Mosh? Jeez. So, talk about reverence, man. So here you got a guy, again, older, been in the league, established, a fantastic runner, and he's talking about being humbled and being mentioned with Josh Jacobs.
I know.
If that's not a testament to the kid's character, I don't know what is.
Shoo. That's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff there.
Amazing.
All right, so going on to the next player drafted, was at 27. We're talking about Jonathan Abram. Not Abrams, not J.J. Abraham or whatever the heck else, whatever else we're giving him. But Jonathan Abram, talking about the safety out of Mississippi State. And, okay, this is really cool. So I only got a small snippet of this. Go to Twitter and go to it's Hail State, which is Mississippi State's Twitter, and they have a video in there of Jonathan Abram on draft day. Basically, it's just like the camera following him around from going and getting his haircut to meeting up with his family to the conversations with Gruden and Mayock, the whole thing. It's awesome. It's like, I love the behind-the-scenes documentary, Hard Knocksy kind of things, and it's basically like a 12-minute or however long it is version of that, okay? Well, I took out just a small snippet of this just so you guys can kind of get a taste of what it is, but definitely, if you haven't seen it, go watch the video on your own, but here's kind of one of the culminating moments.
You excited?
Man, I am.
Now, I keep going back to the Senior Bowl week, and you were all over us, weren't you?
Man, because I knew I was going to be a Raider.
And there's one obligation that comes with it.
What's that?
Leadership.
Hey, I'm already ready.
You going to be a leader?
I am, from day one.
All right, we expect that out of you, and it's not just your talent. It's your character, and it's your leadership. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. I can't wait for you to get here. You're going to be a big part of us turning this thing around, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
With the 27th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Jonathan Abram, defensive back, Mississippi State.
By the way, already graduated, and he's on to getting his MBA. This kid is going places on and off the football field. But for the moment, he's going to Oakland.
We in Oakland, baby! We in Oakland! I feel amazing right now. Nothing else. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to get to work.
Gosh, the draft is so cool. And I think one of our callers, you mentioned, I want to steal his thunder, but seeing dreams realized, literally your lifelong dreams realized, it's powerful stuff, man. It's really cool.
My wife, she's not a sports fan, and a lot of folks can relate to that and understand that. So when we got home, when you and I and Q got home from the draft, and it was late, and we were soaking wet, and we were tired, and we'd been down there with 250,000 of our closest friends, and I come walking in, and she wakes up, and she's, how'd it go? And I told her how much fun we had and what an amazing time it was. She said to me, she said, I watched it. And I said, you did what?
What?
Why? And she said, it was so and now, let me just say this. My wife's a lifelong educator as well. She's retired, 35 years as a teacher. And she said, it was the coolest thing to see those young men crying and hugging their mothers and knowing that their futures were seeing a dream come that they've had and their futures are now, and to see that. And I'm like, dang, hon, that was a really good take on that. It was a good pick to stop while you were channel surfing and seeing all these. That's so cool. That's so
that's what
cool.
It's all about, right?
That's exactly. That's the human side of the sport.
Yes.
It's the human side of what we do, and I'm with them.
Absolutely.
That's just so awesome. We didn't get that vibe out there on the street.
No,
in the
it's
rain.
hard to. It's hard to. Yeah.
But she was seeing a lot of the other stuff, a lot of the B-roll that they had on these guys.
Right, yeah.
So it was cool.
That's cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Good job, KP. Love that. Love to hear that. All right, so the emotion of it, there's the human side of it, as you mentioned. It's funny. One of the criticisms, one of the hot takes out there from the stupid-ass media was about how John Gruden wasn't going to relate. I said I was never going to say it again. What was about how John Gruden was.
We're going to talk about Derek Carr?
You want to talk about the Vegas move?
Yeah.
So talk about how John Gruden, one of his weaknesses, Mosh, was that there's no way he's going to relate to the players nowadays. There's no way he's going to relate to the young guys, right? You remember that narrative, that stupid narrative?
I love
right?
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's listen to Jonathan Abram not relating to John Gruden in the weight room.
Coach, that's my coach right there. 35. Hey, that's my coach right there. Pump him up.
That was on the Instagram. That's Gruden grunting out hammer curls with 35-pound dumbbells.
I love it.
Jonathan Abram is fired up because his coach is in the weight room working out with him. But he can't relate to the young guy.
He don't know how to do that.
He don't know how to do that. He's too far in over his head. There's no way. All right, so speaking of young players he can't relate to, Mad Max Crosby, one of our favorite.
Best name in football to come out of the draft.
Absolutely. Great stuff. And, we talked about Cleveland Farrell, baby Cleveland, as Q-Dog calls him. We talked about him winning the Ted Hendricks Award in college, and now a lot of comparisons are coming out about Max being compared to Ted, because for those of you that don't remember, Ted was a big, long, lanky guy. That's why they called him the Mad Stork, because he was, okay. And the thing about Max is that he's got to get stronger, but he's a big, long, lanky guy, and he's being compared to Ted Hendricks. So he talked about it.
When the owner tells the GM when he's watching tape of you that he sees Ted Hendricks, what does that tell you?
It's an honor. He's a legend. So, it's kind of crazy. Just seeing all the feedback and stuff has been, mostly positive, and just the fans here in Oakland are, die hard. So, it's an honor to be here, to play for such a, legendary organization, and I can't wait to go put it out on the field.
I love it, man. Just, honoring what came before you. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. So much legacy and reverence of the Raiders, and so glad to hear it in existing players. And I'm looking forward to all these guys, because all these kids that are coming in, they're all have made mention of that at some point during all these different clips we've been. I can't wait for Alumni Week this year. When they all come back, when all the legends, when Villapiano and LaMonica and all these guys come back, Pete Koch, our buddy, and when they all come back and they get to see and talk to these guys, I can't wait for those interactions. Those are going to be great. They're going to be great. All right, so last one for you here on the Rooks. Hunter Renfrow, who's not as little as he may get pinned. The guy's 5'10". He's the same height as freaking Antonio Brown. But Hunter Renfrow, known for being that Clemson slot receiver, the guy that was always catching touchdowns every time you watch a national championship game. The reason Mosh caught all those touchdown passes is because he is another player that's pretty cerebral, and he talked about the importance of knowing what you're going to do and how that is more important than maybe necessarily just having a lot of the physical traits.
But I feel like I can outthink people at times. I think that's such a big part of the game that people don't realize. Going through the whole draft, you got to be able to play, definitely, but you can outthink people, outwork people. And a guy who knows what he's going to do before he does it is a lot more dangerous than a guy that's out there big and fast but has no clue what's going on.
Oh, my God, that's genius.
Isn't that great?
It's basic, and it's basic genius.
Yeah.
So we got guys that don't want to come off the field because they want to play. And then we got a guy that says, you got to know what you're doing out there. Being big and dumb ain't going to cut it. Hello? Give me these new guys. Give me this new number 13 at 5'10". I'll take him.
Absolutely. It's great stuff, man. And, and that audio came to us from Matt Schneidman from the Mercury News. So as much as I may rail against some of the people in media, we definitely support and endorse and encourage you to pay attention to people like Matt Schneidman. That's a guy. You want to know about the Raiders? Follow Matt. You know why we got that audio? Because he stuck his phone out in the freaking press conference and recorded that himself. So you want to talk about somebody that's in the know? That's an opinion you can depend on. That's an opinion that's going to be accurate. So thank you to Matt for sharing that on Twitter, and hope you guys got a kick out of a little bit of the rundown of the rookies. Now, Uncle Mosh, let's get to the Sea of Fans mailbag.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he's thrown. It is.
So real quick before we jump into Sea of Fans, just want to remind you there's a couple of different ways you can interact with us here at Raiders Fan Radio. You can email the show at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. You can call the show 909-345-3346, or you can join in the chat, and which we do each and every week. And on the chat, that is at Murph's Fan Cave. It's at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. And in the chat tonight, we got Freddie Chavez, Bobby Wasabi, Watts Raider, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Roach, the Big Easy, Freddie Chavez, Interphase, Coach Davis, the Northwest Raider, and the man that kind of holds it all together, Chris Potts is in there. The kind of man that holds it all together in the chat is Made Man Ron in Ohio. And Ron, we call him the Maderator because he's a made man and he moderates the chat. So he's the Maderator, but he's also one of the funniest guys in the chat too. And he had a comment about me calling Ted Hendricks the Mad Stork. And he said he called him the Mad Stork because he would deliver opposing players to their coach wrapped in cloth, crying with SHIT in their pants.
He goes on to say, Schattenpants. That's how you say it in Germany.
Schattenpants?
Schattenpants.
That's all those people were saying at our live stream when we were at the draft. Yeah. Can I get the Schattenpants on draft, please?
Hey, speaking of that,
Yeah.
a couple people want to know about T-shirts. I don't know if we talked about that a little bit, but there's been 3 or 4 that have said, hey, Murph.
How do you get the shirt?
How do we get shirts? How do we get shirts? Tell me how we get shirts before we start to see a fan.
All right, so RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts. No hyphen, just TSHIRTS. Go there, and it's this very simple picture of it. It'll be a drop down for you. Pick your size. It'll take you to PayPal, and you could check out, and then that's it. And then I'll ship you the T-shirt. So it's pretty simple. So it's RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts.
That's easy enough.
Or just go to RaidersFanRadio.com and click the T-shirts tab.
And okay, so you click the T-shirts tab. There's pictures of you and I and Q.
Yep.
And then we also we have gear. We have merch that they can order too off of that site, right?
Yeah. So the other tab is RaidersFanRadio.com/gear, and that takes you to NFLShop.com. Or you go to the gear page and then click the picture, and it will take you to NFLShop.com, and that's our link. That money, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. They just take a portion of the sale of what they make on it, and then they give it to us. Well, that's the money we're putting all in this hopper and collecting for Biletnikoff Foundation. So, yeah. So, RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts and RaidersFanRadio.com/gear. Go to those two things, and all that money goes to Biletnikoff.
Okay, so.
Awesome. Thanks, Mosh.
No worries. Hot take. Roach says Renfro will be Roberts. 2016. You heard it here first.
Ooh, now that's a good hot take.
Right. I love that.
That's an educated hot take.
That's an educated hot take.
That's not going off for some crazy reaction, clickbaity thing. I like that. That's a very well-founded opinion. Great job, Roach.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to hear from Capo.
All right, yeah. Oh, so we always start off here with the Sea of Fans mailbag with our call from the Capo. Every made man. Let me back up. Let me slow down. I'm getting all fired up tonight, Mosh.
You are.
Okay, so if you call the show 3 times and you leave a message, and
not
we play
2, not 4,
not
but 3.
2, not 4, but 3 times, and we play it on the show, we refer to you as a made man. So if you call 909-345-3346 and you leave us a message and we play it 3 times, you become a made man. Well, the made man of the made men is our Capo, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, and let's hear his take this week.
Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere Mosh, Underboss Sonny, Little Murph Nation. It's your Capo, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, coming to you from the great state of Texas. Look, Levi Damien from SB Nation has claimed many times, apparently, that Baby Cleveland is a perfect fit for Paul's defense, even before the draft, apparently. You know, it was never a question, according to him, of whether the Raiders should draft him, but just a matter of when they would take him. Number 4, honestly, seriously, honestly, I mean, what recent surprises haven't been more disappointing? I mean, the Oakland Raiders have selected defensive end Cleveland Farrell from Clemson. I mean, what was more disappointing than that? I mean, Magic Johnson's no-look resignation from the Lakers via Twitter. I mean, how about ex-Steeler Terry Bradshaw going on Louisiana man last week on the Masked Singer? I mean, what are we talking about? Zion Williamson sitting through there, and you could see the pain on his face whenever he found out that the Pelicans were going to get the first draft and first pick in this upcoming draft. I mean, disappointments abound. The president. Moving forward, I digress. Don, I think you put it best when you emphatically said that you need a dance partner in order to trade down. And apparently Mike Mayock has affirmed that because there was nobody, according to him, that would ring the phone whenever he had that pick at number 4. So you know what? Vindication is yours, baby boy. But I think Cleveland Farrell will be a good fit. It's just a matter of time telling. Now, bring back Beast Mode. We need him back. KO, he made a little interview snippet last week whenever he put out there that Beast Mode kept a little bit too real and the coaching staff wasn't feeling with the younger players on the team. Man, get that water under the bridge. We need this man back in the worst way. Hit list, Johnny Townsend is usually, Jelly Ellis, Martavis Bryant, Eddie Vanderdoen, DeAndre Washington, Carl Joseph, and that'll do it. Hope the show comes back this week, and this isn't a practice call. Respect goes out to our Sergeant at Arms, D-Dog in the pasture, Mojo Raider, Watch Raider, Raider Homer, Splatterhead, Bobby Wasabi, Raider Ramon, and Ron and Elias. Rue?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I love him. For those of you out there that don't know Q or haven't had the pleasure like we have to spend time with him, make some kind of arrangements. Q
funny, man.
will kill you. He's so funny.
Funniest.
He's out there and he's just like that in real life as he is on the radio, and he's great. He's great. Hey, so my guy Roach.
Okay, you bringing it again?
Roach, he brought it again.
Okay, good stuff.
All right,
what
Roach says the only thing that sucks in Raider Nation right now is that next year we'll be picking 32nd.
Oh,
drop the
nice.
mic. Roach did it again.
Well done. Well played. That's why that's going to be awesome being at the draft next year. And that's what we were saying a lot of, too, when we were down there at this draft. We're like, you know what, this is great and all, but next year it's going to be great because we're not going to be picking early. So hopefully not. But anyways, good stuff there, Roach. And of course, Aaron, great job as always. So real quick, just kind of hit on something there. He's kind of pining for Marshawn to be back. You know, I agree with Aaron most of the time. I don't know, man. As much as I thought early on that it was highly important for us to bring him back and I wanted to see him get his swan song in Oakland, I'm not so much sold on that idea anymore. Not after we drafted Jacobs. And again, I love Chris Warren, man. I think that he's going to be awesome.
You always have.
I always have, man. And I've been on this for a long time. And, you know, look, I understand the significance of Marshawn's role, but look, no one outruns Father Time, man. And what is he, 33 plus now? Like, I don't know. It might be time to just finally move on from it. Now, if I wouldn't be mad at it if it happened because he is Oakland.
Right,
so
absolutely.
I wouldn't be mad at it if it happened. But I also fully understand and fully embrace it if they don't, if that makes sense. How about you, Mike?
I'm with you. It's we like a good story. We like a good human interest story, you know? If he does, he does. If he doesn't, you know, we're not going to be worse off.
It's not like we don't have options anymore. And that's what I felt like before. Like, it was like, oh, we kind of need Marshawn. But now we got options, man. We don't necessarily need him, So, anyways, that's a tough one, though. It is a tough one. All right, so this is kind of funny. So we got some kind of clever calls in here this week. So I mentioned Jeff. This is the guy that, for those of you that missed it, he is a good friend of ours in real life. He's one of Uncle Mosh's former students, and he and I work together now. So he's kind of part of the family, and he's been indoctrinated, man. He's been welcomed into Raider Nation.
He has.
He's flying the flag flying that pirate flag high, and so anyway, so he was over here. We're gonna develop a show together, and then also he was just kind of over here one night, and we were talking to him and had him on the show, and he called us on the way home from that.
Murph, Uncle Mosh, it's Jeff the Raider. Hey, thank you again for having me on the show. I just left about 30 minutes ago. Had to stop at the supermarket to get some spinach for my wife, and I got stopped. The new Raider hat that I have, I already got stopped. Someone said, "Go Raiders." So, yeah, I can get used to this whole nation thing. I'm all about it. But hey, I've called in once. I've been on the show twice. Does that make me a made man? I think it does. Raiders.
Mosh, I love the enthusiasm.
I do too.
Let me say this. I love that he got stuck, because this is one of the things we always say as Raider fans. Like, Raider fans acknowledge other Raider fans.
Right.
If you're a Harley, if you ride a Harley and you pass another Harley on a road, you wave. If you drive a Jeep and you pass another Jeep, you wave. If you're a Raider fan and you're out in public and you see another Raider fan, you holler, you wave at him.
Yeah.
You say, "What's up?" You say, "Go Raiders." You do something. Other fan bases don't do that. I'm glad that Jeff has seen already, day one, it's a different fandom here that he's getting ready to experience. Now, what do you think of what's your take on him becoming a made man?
Well, here's my thing about Jeff.
Okay.
I've known Jeff since he was 14.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 30 now.
Yeah.
I've known the kid 16 years. I've known him over half his life. He's trying to angle for more swag. I know this kid. I love this kid.
He wants more Raider
I
gear.
loved him like a son. Now I love him like he's a nephew. I took him to his first casino.
Hey, there you go.
And his wife hates me for that. And I'm okay with that. That's not the point. The point is he's angling for stuff.
He's angling for a shirt.
Because he thinks he gets something.
Yeah, well, he tried. I'm telling you, he tried to get a shirt for free.
I know.
I'm like, okay, you want to rob the Biletnikoff Foundation?
Yeah.
You got to put your head on the pillow tonight.
He's because I know this kid. He'll call in 2 more times. He'll call in
and you know what? And he does have to call, because you know what? I made Kevin do that. Kevin, the Raider nerd, he asked that when he was like, "Well, so I've been on the show and I've called." He says, "Does that make me a made man?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. Like, you got to call, man. Like, it's the same for everybody."
Wait a minute.
What?
Kevin that sat in my chair?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open up old wounds there.
Will you stifle yourself?
All right, so here we go, Mosh. So here's one. So look, we aren't afraid to be.
Raider Homer.
Okay.
Raider Homer. Hey, I know that and Jeff is a good little handle.
Yeah. What do you come up with?
Raider Swag Jeff.
Oh, Swag Jeff.
Swag Jeff. Oh man, you know.
Well, you know what? He doesn't like Jeff. I had lunch with him the other day, and he goes, "Are we going to change my name?" And I go,
Yeah.
I go, "No." I go, "You're Jeff," and he goes, "I go, why? You don't like it?" And he goes, "Well, not really." And I go, "What do you want to be, FN Jeff?" And he goes, "FN." I go, "Yeah, you know when you're the new guy at work and people call you the FNG,
Yeah.
the effing new guy." I go, "Maybe you could be FN Jeff." And he goes, "Well, I don't like that either." I'm like, "You want us to name you? We'll name you."
I kind of like Swag Jeff because
like-
he is the king of swag too. I remember
He kind of is. I
remember
like
when
that.
he was,
That's actually pretty good.
when he was in his sunglasses phase.
Oh my gosh, the kid had like 30 pairs of Oakley.
I still got a pair that he gave me. And he was,
Did you really?
and he went to work at the Oakley store. He was working
gosh.
part-time to support his habit.
You know what? And and we don't do self-gloss, so you can't give your own nickname. Raider Homer, was that who that did
Yeah,
that?
Raider Homer did that.
Raider Homer. Swag Jeff.
Swag Jeff. I love it.
I like
because,
it.
And you know, in the theater world, in the entertainment industry, we go with swag, right? You know what swag is, right?
It's I'll just say it.
We ain't got.
There you go. No, it's we all get.
Oh, no. We ain't got. That's why you want it.
Oh, I thought it was case we all get because it's like swag. Everybody gets it.
Are we going to have to bleep this a lot?
We're going to have to bleep. That's the first time we've said
Whatever will be, will be.
We might as well just drop it while I was going to
No, don't you dare. All right, I love it. Swag Jeff, it's in.
All right.
Thank you.
Swag
Thank
Jeff.
you for Homer.
And let me timestamp this 128 because I get to go back and add in some beeps and lightsaber sounds in there. All right, so anyway, so we're not afraid to make fun of ourselves as much as we like to pick on Jeff and Kevin and anybody else. We also are not above getting picked on ourselves. And man, somebody came at me this week, Mosh.
What?
Just Win
what
Johnny.
What did you do?
Just Win Johnny. You know, we got 3 shows on the network. We got this one, the flagship show, Raiders Fan Radio. We got Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and then our buddies up there in New Jersey, where Just Win Johnny is at. He's up in there in New York. So the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead, Tom, and Fitz. And I was a little late to posting up the Fan Club Blitz this week, and Johnny wasn't having it.
Hey, Murph, this is Just Win Johnny. Need you to do me a favor. Hit the button. I need some Fan Club Blitz over here. Hit the button. Tell them to hit the button, Mosh. I need my Fan Club Blitz. Later.
All right, so so that's great, right? So then guess what? I was still late. I got tied up, man. I was seeing Avengers Endgame. I was at the movie theater with the kids, and so I was late getting home to post up the show. So Just Win Johnny still wasn't having it.
Murph, this is Just Win Johnny again. I've just been updated. There's another delay on the show. I don't know if you're too busy whacking down Kansas hipster water, LaCroix, shout out to hipster water, or if you're just organizing your dad socks and rolling them in nice little bundles in your Lucky Raiders store. But I need my Fan Club Blitz. Let's do this. Come on, hit the button.
Yeah, I love it, man. And I love the Jersey guys.
Oh, they're the best.
Oh, man. I love it.
Isn't that funny?
That's so funny, the hipster water.
Okay, so I love it. And again, we're not above making fun of ourselves.
Heck no, man.
We love it. And so this reminded me, so once upon a time, this is back when we first started Raiders Fan Radio. Heck, it might even be one of the other shows. I don't know. But we used to have Uncle Mosh come on and just do like these kind of rants, these segments, on different things. And so one of the ones that I had recorded you doing, I forgot to record it. And so I told you, hey, Mosh, we got to do that over again. And this is what you said.
What did you do, stupid? You didn't push the right button.
So it totally reminded me of Just Win Johnny. So you got Just Win Johnny telling me this.
This is Just Win Johnny. Need you to do me a favor. Hit the button.
And then Mosh.
What did you do, stupid? You didn't push the right button.
Anyways, apparently I got a problem with buttons.
Oh my gosh!
How many syllables are in buttons?
Hey, what? You're gonna start counting them? What, we're gonna do a math thing? We're gonna lose people.
Episode number 130. How many syllables are in button? All right, Mosh. Let's get to one here. Kind of new made man and doing a great job with his calls. Fellow of Ron, Ohio, and we're here from our buddy Dave in the 330.
Hey, Mosh, Murph. It's Dave out in the 330 Ohio. What's up, Raider Nation? Draft's over. Good stuff. I watched it. It's the first draft I've ever watched any of. I watched the first round. I checked a bunch of news stories, and I got a little bone to pick with you guys. You didn't set me up to properly watch the draft. Nobody warned me. I'm going to need a box of tissues. Man, got me crying like Tom Brady when he gets touched. But anyway, yeah, man, that's just some emotional stuff watching these guys. Life-changing, and they're just so grateful. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. It's like their dream come true. It's almost like winning the lottery if you had to work your ass off your whole life to get there and win that winning ticket. It's just awesome to see these guys and hear the reactions, the responses. I think we've got a great group of guys coming in for the Raiders that are going to be there for a long time and really improve this roster. So I'm looking forward to 2019. Thanks for everything. Thanks for putting on your show there. It gives me something to listen to when I'm driving around. I'm out here in Brownie country, so I got Browns news and stuff on the radio all day. It's nice to have something Raider related out here. So, Raider.
Awesome job there, Dave, in the 330. So him and Aunt Kathy, man, tearing up at the draft, right?
I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But it really is, man. Seeing that culmination of dreams being, what made true, man. It's great stuff there. Great stuff. So good call, Dave in the 330. Man, keep them coming, man. I've enjoyed Dave's calls to this point, man. He's now a made man, and they've all been great. So okay, so here we got another kind of a fun one. So for those of you that watched any of the coverage that we had in the draft, the middle day, Saturday, I took both my boys down to the draft experience, and I did a little video there of us on the way down there. And also last Father's Day, I had both of my boys, your grandnephews, on Raiders Fan Radio. And so my youngest son is Vinny, and Vinny's all about the show, man. He's all about, and he's a little bit of a ham, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
No,
he's the ham. He's the performer of our crew, man.
Out by it naturally, man.
Yeah, he sings, he plays music. He's great, man. So anyway, so he had a call for us this week.
Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? This is Vinny. This is actually Murph's son. So I just wanted to call in and say that I love the Raiders, and I always have. And I think that the podcast is amazing, and I love you guys. Bye.
Love you too, Vin.
Man, way to go, Vin.
Yeah.
Come on with your bad self.
Yeah, good stuff there, man. Appreciate it. That's Vinny in the 615. Call us 2 more times and you become a made man.
He's
son.
of that age where I'm surprised he's not out in a pasture somewhere.
Yeah. All right, so let's go next, Uncle Mosh, to our resident historian.
Absolutely,
and,
come on.
Hear from Houston Raider Steve.
Hey, Murph and Mosh, this is Houston Raider Steve. I was going to tell you some background information about that Tom Dempsey field goal. I've listened to WWL many years, so I know what's going on with the Saints. And the story that was told is that game that he kicked the 63-yard field goal. Tom Dempsey had a club foot. It was against the Detroit Lions. They had the lead up to the kick on the radio broadcast. What happened was right after he made contact with the ball, when he kicked the ball, the radio broadcast went out. So the only people that knew that he made the kick were people at the stadium. And I've talked to a lady that's a friend of mine. She said she was actually at that game when Dempsey kicked that field goal. So the very first kick that's, longest field goal kick at that time by Tom Dempsey was not heard on the radio. So it's kind of historic. The very first kick never got heard on the radio. We don't talk about that guy, Jason Elam, but we, of course, talk about Janikowski, about where we were at and who we were with and our Raider fandom when he made that kick. That's my story. For what it's worth, I didn't think anybody was ever going to tie that record, much less surpass the 63-yard field goal record by Tom Dempsey at the old Tulane Stadium, where the first Super Bowl that was won there, I believe, was the Kansas City Chiefs over the Minnesota Vikings, Lenny Dawson's team and Hank Strand's team. Have a great day. Appreciate everything that you and Uncle Mosh do. Little Murph, Wilson, love the draft coverage and all the other interviews with Brian Hansen and everything. And Mondays with Mikey Murph, and God bless, and go Raiders. The Raiders are back, baby.
Houston Steve, I mean, we got a few folks with some monikers. Q-Dog is a capo, and Ron's got we might have to. I'm going to get
Historian Steve. I'm going to
get Raider Homer on it, because Raider Homer is on fire.
Is he?
Tonight he came up with the moniker for Vinny in the 615, Mini Murph. I love it.
I love that.
I mean, he's on
Well,
fire.
and you know what's cool about that is because my other son, Tristan, is
the voice of Little Murph. Yeah.
So Little Murph and Mini Murph. I love it.
I love it.
Good job, Homer.
Man,
but
Homer
I kind of like historian instead of Houston Steve, Historian Steve.
Historian Steve,
but
man.
I will say that I'll defer to Raider Homer for approval on that.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Potts has chimed in and said Historian Steve, yes. But he does, man. Raider Homer is the rest of everybody's on it, man. This guy comes up with the best stuff,
and
man.
I love that's the kind of stuff that I really, because you can find the facts anywhere. Like facts are easy to find. It's dope, and I think why is it because it really does remind me of the stuff that you guys used to tell me about the '70s Raiders and all the, and not even just that, but just the NFL as a whole. Those like. I don't know.
Those personal touches.
Yeah, like that's what's so
awesome.
cool, and that's what makes football great. So anyways, love you, Steve, man. Keep them coming, as always, my friend. And again, even if I don't play, I always enjoy listening to
Wait a minute.
What?
Q-Dog.
Uh-oh, what do you do?
Q-Dog.
What do you do?
Dead Scrolls Steve.
Dead Scrolls Steve. Well,
that's good.
Because like what did I just say? The facts aren't hard to find. You already got the base of the story. What's the extra?
Yeah.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh.
That's good stuff. Good job, Q-Dog. All right, so here's one of your favorite monikers, speaking of monikers, in the chat.
Love this guy.
And I believe first-time caller, Full Metal Mexican.
What's up? It's the Full Metal Mexican, first time calling in. Probably seen me in the chat a couple times. Love to participate in the chat, but I gotta work graveyard and gotta sleep and all that, but gotta give respect to the capo, Mr. Q-Dog, and to the big Raider trucker, our sergeant at arms, all the made men, Sonny, Murph, Uncle Mosh, Low Murph. Looking forward to the draft. Haven't been this excited in a long time, and I'm full of optimism, but like they say, the greatness in the Raiders is in our future, but let's not forget our past, where we came from. That's all I wanted to say. Hope everyone has a blast at the draft. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Peace.
All right, so that call, actually, clearly, it came in before the draft. There was a couple I missed because we had so much going on in the draft.
Downtime. We had all kinds of crazy stuff going.
So I apologize to Full Metal Mexican for not getting that in quicker, but there you go. And thank you so much for all the kind words. And I love it when our listeners shout out the other guys. I love that. Because it's all about community and the fandom community for us. And so when you guys celebrate one another, man, that's perfect, man. That's great. So great job on the first call, and I appreciate always your involvement in the chat. And Uncle Mon, that might be your favorite name or one of them on the short list.
It's on the short list.
Yeah.
Short list for sure.
So to become a made, Mosh, here we are almost done with the Sea of Fans mailbag, and we missed your freaking email bag.
Oh.
So now we have 2 calls left. One of them's a new made man. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to get to your emails?
No, we'll do the emails at the end.
We'll do the emails
We can
at the
do
end.
that.
All right, so if you call the show 3 times at 909-345-3346, you become a made man. You can get made anytime by wearing one of our T-shirts, or you can call the show to make it official. And so this is a little bit tough to hear. I know that there's a little bit of a speaking challenge for this gentleman, but he's a great Raider fan, great representative of Raider Nation. He's Raider 1, and this is his 3rd call, and he is now a made man here on Raiders Fan Radio.
How you doing, Uncle Mosh? And Murph, this is one W from Santa Maria, California. I'm calling to tell you, about the draft that we got. And, all the guys we got, they're really, really good players. And we got lucky on drafted free agents. We got Tavon Connie. He looks like a linebacker from Notre Dame, which has a lot of hit. He's a pretty good. The only weakness is his cover, but he hits everything in his way. And then the fullback in Alex Ingold. I like the Ingold. I think that those 2 and Lester Cotton, a guard from Alabama. I think they'll all make the Raiders as undrafted free agents, and I think we should be all glad of everything they have been. I mean, for the second, everybody was talking smack, but on the second day, we were showing it. Every play we were getting.
Absolutely.
So true. This I think we'll have a really a good year. Thank you for taking my call, and go Raiders.
Absolutely. Day 2 was fantastic for the Raiders.
Jeez.
Trading down a couple of times in that second round. And that was the one where when I was down there with the boys, we were down there in the middle, right in the middle of the crowd where we were day 1 also, Mosh. But right there, we got to see Charles Woodson come out and announce the pick, and, of course, wish everyone Happy Mother's Day and all that. So that was great, man. Day 2 for the Raiders was fantastic. But hey, most importantly here on the show, congratulations, Raider 1. You're now a made man.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
All right. Thank you to Raider Juan, and thank you to all of you that are made men. We need to do an update, I guess, Mosh. I'll have that maybe for next show.
We'll call roll.
There's like 30 some odd folks now, 34, 35. I don't know.
So.
It's getting long. So thank you to all of you that have participated in Raiders Fan Radio. All right, Uncle Mosh, we got one more voicemail, and we got a sizzler pending too. We don't do hot takes, but we definitely do a sizzler. And so our last entry this week comes from our buddy Rev Raider up there, speaking of New Jersey.
What's going on, Murph and Uncle Mosh? This is Rev Raider calling from Jersey. Just wanted to give a couple of thoughts. Well, first, while I'm thinking about it, and I was listening to episode 128, Murph had me dying laughing with the Tom Dempsey joke, you know. I mean, in a sense, it was kind of deeper than prostitute's working tool, but I definitely got a kick out of it. Just wanted to give my thoughts a little bit on the draft and stuff like that. I was definitely happy. I mean, I think most of us had very similar reactions to Cleveland Farrell going number 4, but I think we kind of fed into some of the hype with some of the quote unquote experts and stuff like that. But I was upset for all of like a minute. You know, I was just like, hey, dude is still good. And if you go back and look at his film, he has a lot of tools like with his hands, and he's very cerebral. He might end up being better all around than Josh Allen or Nick Bosa. Like, even though Josh Allen, he is a physical specimen and stuff. But definitely was happy about that. Seems like the Raiders, with the defensive picks in the secondary, I'm very happy with. Almost seems like they're trying to develop their own little Legion of Boom. You know, tall, strong
good call.
Corners, and Jonathan Abrams. I was hoping we would pick up a safety. When we picked up Jonathan Abrams, I was so souped because I had an eye on him. I was like, dang, I wish we would pick him up. So that was definitely excellent. I'm happy about that, you know. Definitely excited, you know. Recently, I just celebrated my 40th birthday. And so as a birthday present to myself, I bought some Jets and Raiders tickets, so I'm all set and ready for that. Can't wait for November 24th. Can't wait for the season. But another thing, I was actually paying attention to or listening to the Colecchio Semele interview. I actually wasn't mad. I think he kept it real funky, you know. Yeah. He kept it 100, and he said what he had to say and spoke his mind, you know. And I am kind of sad that he went. I get why he went. You know, we probably couldn't afford him, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, once a Raider, always a Raider. That's about it. I'm done running my mouth. And so I'll talk to you guys at a later date. Always love the show. Have a good one. Great job,
wow,
Raider, man.
Good job,
he's the best,
Raider,
man. He's the best. And I won't build on it anymore because I totally agree with him about Colecci on that KO thing. And if you haven't heard it, go find it. It's not hard to find. It's Lefkoe, Lefkoe show. And, you know, Mosh, because that's, you know, he was critical, but he wasn't overly critical. It wasn't bitter. And that's the thing that, like, we hear when a lot of people go at the Raiders after the fact. They're bitter. Amari Cooper was bitter, right? I know I see you smiling at me like I'm heading to that territory. Let me just say that I didn't get that vibe from Colecci. I didn't get that.
You're right. You're right. And I love Ray. I love Rev's take on that. It was just. I love it when a caller is cerebral, and they're sitting there and they're thinking. You know, they're not reading the script. They're telling us what they think, and it's like, man, it's like he's right here with us talking about this stuff we just talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't like to do a lot of reading straight off of the chat, but Q's killing me.
Oh, no, what do you do?
Q is on a roll. So Full Metal Mexican is talking about he works for a guy whose name is Juan, right? Oh, no. A lot of people were congratulating Juan, and Full said Full Metal Jacket said that his boss is named Juan, and so Aaron Q Dog Raider of the Capo says Mexican may have 99 problems, but his boss ain't Juan. Q is
That's hilarious.
It's killing
Oh my
me.
gosh, make my glasses fog up. Oh my gosh, you're too funny, Aaron. He's
Q,
the best,
this one's
man.
for you.
Sizzler.
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 Sizzler. Sizzler.
Chat has been a riot
Oh,
tonight.
chat. They're the funniest part of the
They
show.
are.
For those
Okay.
of you that don't participate on our YouTube, man, you're missing out. Our chat, they're smarter than we are. They're funnier than we are. They know more about football than we do.
Absolutely.
Like, that's awesome, man. And they are definitely our brain trust, man. You guys rock, man.
Yeah,
That is
great.
too funny.
Hey, so speaking of Rev, Rev, this
okay.
one's for you, buddy.
Sizzler.
Sizzler. Sizzler.
Sizzler. Sizzler.
Sizzler. Sizzler.
Is that a two-time winner? Or first time for Rev? I don't know. We don't keep Sizzler
track, and I
stats.
think is that Rev's first call?
No.
No, that's his.
No, he's a made man.
He's a so
Mosh.
Will you stifle yourself?
It's hard to. Let me just say that this is a really awesome problem to have. I lose track too. It's hard for, and remember that one time I tried to reference the Made Men, and I kind of stopped myself, and I'm like, oh no, because I'm gonna forget somebody.
yeah, I do that with grandchildren. It's like, wait, are you one of? No, you're not mine. Wait, I don't know. Hey, let me read these.
But it's such a good thing because
It's a good
we have
thing.
so much participation in the show. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and, so
I
pardon
should have
us.
known Rev Raider because
No,
he
but
cracks me up every time he calls.
He's the one that dropped tighter than a mosquito's
tighter than a
butthole,
mosquito's butthole.
which
Yes,
was one of
yes.
the best. All right, go ahead.
Oh, Rev. So, Rev, that was your first Sizzler. I appreciate
Oh, it's
you.
first. Okay, see,
Yeah, and
I don't know either.
So,
What the hell's going on around
here? You know, Paul from Shropshire.
There we go.
Is the Sizzler scorekeeper, and we're going to hear from Paul in a minute. And
He's got a new nickname too.
Paul,
the
Sizzler scorekeeper
from Shropshire, Mississippi. This guy's loaded with all kinds. Oh my gosh!
If you tell him that, he'll add that to.
He'll add that
his
to your
credentials.
signature.
Paul, I know you're going to listen. Do it. All right, Murph. Here's an email.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, it says, "Hey, Murph. I know you like numbers, so here's what makes me making a made man on episode 124.
That's not from Paul.
I'm going to get to Paul in a minute. If you interrupt me again.
Will you stifle yourself?
Wait a minute. You're cutting eyes at me.
Good job there, hot dog.
It's Hot Rod.
Whatever it is. Wait, hot dog is what I try to type with. Oh, no, that's sausages. So it says, so Chris Potts says, hey, Murph doesn't know what's going on, but he'll drop math like a mofo.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I will. I have no idea. All
right, let me listen.
Yeah, baffle him with numbers. Oh my
All
gosh!
right.
I'm sweating over here. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Murph, I know you like numbers. So here is what makes me making a made man on episode 124 extra cool.
Okay.
My wife and I got together January 24th. So our number is 124. I even have a 124 tat on my arm. Also, you said I was the 31st, which is my birthday, and it happened in my birthday month. From Raider
gosh.
Roo. Yeah.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man. That's the kind of numerology we love,
We
man.
love that.
Nice job,
We love
Raider
it.
Roo.
Good job. All right.
That is cool. All right, so hit us with Shropshire.
Paul.
This is it. This is the now coming to the close of Raiders Final Radio. Closing out
Good
Shropshire.
evening, fellas. It's been quiet this week, and as we head into the bowels of the preseason, the rookies are settling in well. We've had a couple of stellar-looking scouting appointments, and we're heading towards the part of the year when I start to rewatch my America's Game trilogy and Raiders history DVDs on a loop just to have some football going on.
Nice.
Excuse me. Of course, this year, I could also listen to your award-winning Super Bowl Sunday show from February. And thank you, Paul.
Cool, thank you.
You may be the only person that gave us an award, but we appreciate it.
We'll take it.
Two people that have split opinions this week have been Kelechi and Tom Cable. I'm not sure how I feel about the Kelechi interview. 1 minute, I think he's not showing any real animosity towards anyone. Then in the next breath, he seems to be a bit bitter. The one thing I wish all these guys would do is just move on. Put all their energy into their new team and not do these expose type things.
Yeah.
Unless there is a serious issue that needs to be addressed, such as racism, for example, then nothing positive comes from any of it. Tom Cable definitely splits opinion, and this week I saw some stats on Silver and Black Pride on Twitter that are really damning on Cable's performance, specifically pass protection. They state that between 2006 in Atlanta and 2017 in Seattle, the pass protection stats under his coaching are really poor. He ranks 20th in 2012. Otherwise, it's pretty much low 20s and 30s every other year. Look out for him appearing on Q-Dog's hit list in the future. It's hard to stick up for that guy when you see the stats, but I guess the bottom line is, if Coach Gruden wants him on the staff, he ain't going anywhere soon. True. Funniest thing of the week. That fool that went to Dallas is now asking for $16 million a year. Yeah, right. Yeah. The gift that keeps on giving. Yes, we don't like to say we told you so, people, but we told you so. A couple of questions for you to finish off with. I've seen numerous articles suggesting we trade for Kyle Rudolph at the Vikings. Now, obviously, it depends what the trade is, but do you think we should go for him? And finally, will there be an RFR awards relating to last season? I believe they were called the Fannies before. Love you, Raider Nation. Regards, Paul Egerton from Shropshire, Mississippi, proud made man and one-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler Award. And what is it? The Sizzler,
Oh, no, I forgot already.
What
did we say? No,
the Sizzler Statistician?
Yeah,
No.
the Sizzler Statistician. That was it, yeah.
The Sizzler Statistician. Yeah. Good job, Paul.
Good job,
You're the
Paul.
best, man.
Wow, it's great emails, man. He's awesome. So a lot of stuff there, Mosh. So he talked about, he asked the two questions there at the end. Should we trade for Kyle? I don't know. I mean, again, kind of like a lot of these things, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think that he's got a lot left to offer a team, but I'm not so sure that we're at that desperate of a need at tight end, at least as much as maybe some of the analysts will tell you that we are, because I think we have a big unknown in Darren Waller. And look, the guy's big, he's fast, he's got good hands for all that we can tell. Like, if he can end up being, half the playmaker that we would need him to be, then we'll be fine, because our wide receivers are going to be getting most of the targets. And guess what? Josh Jacobs can catch out of the backfield too. So we don't need a feature tight end anymore. We don't need a Jared Cook anymore. And not to say that Kyle Rudolph is on the same level as Jared Cook, but I don't know. I don't see it having as big of a need maybe as what it would have been at other times there. All right. So, good stuff there from the
Sizzler Scorekeeper.
From the Sizzler Scorekeeper and all the rest of the calls. Great job this week, guys. You guys were awesome.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
I've had a few people ask me, Mosh, about that.
Why we do that?
Yeah, because, that's the Joker from
right.
Dark Knight, right? And because Raiders fans are a rogues gallery, and Batman is known for his rogues gallery of villains, and the most famous one of them is the Joker, and so that's why I play that little thing of him at the end. So that's why the Joker.
And we like to do.
So, Mosh, we always close out the show with a kind of an irreverent little segment, and this week we're going to go to Raiders and pop culture. And this is a fun one. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about the Raiders potentially being on the show Hard Knocks. This is the documentary that HBO produces every year. A lot of talk about them being on Hard Knocks. All right, I'm kind of coming around to the idea, but whatever. The more Raiders, the merrier to me. But going back to our friends at Good Morning Football, who put out so much great content, one of the hosts of Good Morning Football is Kyle Brandt. Well, he's buddies with Liev Schreiber, who's a famous actor, and he does the voiceover when you watch the Hard Knocks shows. He's the guy narrating the episodes.
I got it.
Okay, so since the topic has been the Raiders being on Hard Knocks, well, Kyle reached out to Schreiber and asked him if he would do a mock-up of what that might sound like if the Raiders were on Hard Knocks, and here's what it sounded like.
I'm going to go to Oakland for now. And Peter made a joke about this, but I am actually friends with Liev Schreiber. My wife and I are friends with he and his wife take a cooking class together, and I texted him last night, could you voice over this thing on a voice memo? And he sent it to us, and this is how it came out for the Oakland Raiders being the team for Hard Knocks.
Coming this summer, a saga from HBO in which you can actually see the action on the field, and the stars and bucks are right where they belong. The story of a great royal family battling to honor kings past with kings present, and once again reclaim the throne of games. An exile who crossed the narrow AFC, the prince who was promised, the master of whispers, and the mover of chains, and their battle to remind the 32 kingdoms that the black hole is dark and full of terrors, and to silence those critics who would say, you know nothing, John Gruden. Hard Knocks, training camp with the Oakland Raiders. Winter is coming.
That's so cool that he did that.
I thought it was very nice of him. And he even did the score a cappella at the end.
Yeah.
Really talented guy.
Extra effort from
Yeah,
him.
that's Sabretooth right there.
Is that
He doesn't
an
have a lot of
acapella
time.
right there?
Why didn't he bring him on the show?
He won't come on the show.
Weird.
He doesn't like us, but he said he likes the Raiders.
How funny.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So, yeah,
Oh.
good stuff there. So, appreciate the Good Morning Football crew. If you don't watch Good Morning Football, man, it's one of the best. I watch it almost every day before Dan Patrick comes on. It's some of the best content there is in terms of football-related news, man. So, Uncle Mosh, that brings us to the end of another episode of Raiders Fan Radio, the episode 129. Next up is 130. Probably not going to be this next week. Yeah, 2 weeks for RFR proper, but we will have. I've got a lot of stuff holstered.
We got stuff on hold.
Coming this week, so you're going to hear from us. It's just not going to be RFR proper until week after.
Yeah,
next.
I got
You wanna do
finals. I think. Yeah. Anyway, it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. But so anyways, yeah. So you're going to be out of school soon, and
we got a couple remotes planned for this summer.
We do have.
We got some more road tripping stuff.
We do. We've been accused of being the Martin and Lewis, and so we will definitely do those again. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier about Paul asked about the fannies. We'll get to the fannies this year. We got tied up in the draft. It occupied a lot of our creative energy, and so we just didn't get to the fannies like we normally would. Those are coming. We'll do the fan. So you'll get plenty of stuff from us.
Fannies are going to be a little bit different this year too. We're going to do them on the YouTube as well as the podcast.
Absolutely. So we're going to try to incorporate some fun stuff that way. But thank you to all of you in the chat. I can't scroll up, but Ron, Watts Raider, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Interface, Jesse Rosales, Chris Potts, The Big Easy, Full Metal Mexican, Raider, Homer. Man, tons of people in there tonight. Appreciate you all hanging in with us here all the way until the end. And thank you for supporting Raiders Fan Radio the way that you do. And I'm going to turn over to Uncle Mosh and get out of here for the night.
Hey, thanks for listening tonight. And for Murph, the Dead Scroll Steve, Mini Murph, and the Sizzling Scorekeeper, this is your old Uncle Mosh, and you've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. Don't ever forget, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland. Good night, everybody. God bless.
We might as well just drop it while I was going
No, don't you dare.